Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Sid. How you doing?
I'm I've got mixed emotions, hey. I mean, two of my favorites didn't do well this IPL, KKR and Mumbai, and then Daredevils obviously lost. But I like Mumbai as well, so it's a bit of a mixed emotion one. I don't. But then if I look at it more in totality, I think Daredevils were so inconsistent. I think with their problems and all, they probably maybe didn't deserve it, but either team maybe would have deserved it. So congrats. I know your team squeaked home.
Yeah, pretty relieved, hey? Pretty relieved. The hard work starts now. I guess the party's over now. So you got to get down to the hard work and start preparing for the playoffs. But I think it's more feeling of relief because look, it's been an up and down season as you said, but unfortunately, Delhi crumbled at the final hurdle, and what a
Mm.
performance by Mumbai yesterday. Tim David, you beauty. He really took that game away from Delhi. But I think Delhi were probably masters of their own downfall at the end of the
Mm.
day.
Yeah,
The fielding was
definitely.
really the fielding was really average, and some decision making from the captain himself. I think it really puzzled a lot of people, and I think
Mm.
whoever watched the game were really puzzled by, especially that first delivery from David that he nicked, clearly nicked to
Mm.
him, and nobody was really interested in it. But with two reviews still left in the bag, I think you probably
Mm.
should have went for that one. I think sanity should have prevailed there, but I think there was a bit of you
Yeah.
know, I'd say some insanity in some of those decisions. So
Mm.
yeah, I think pretty relieved at the end of the day. It could have went either way. It was a game that I was obviously glued to
Mm. Mm.
right till the end. And thankfully Mumbai came through. And
Yeah.
yeah, as you said, it's been a season of real ups
Mm.
and downs so far. And I think Delhi just they just lost their heads at the final hurdle. That's what it was
Yeah.
at the end of the
I
day.
never thought I'd say this, but Hunt is a bit of a liability for his own team. As a captain, I mean, as a batsman, I'm thinking if they free him from captaincy, I think he'll be a lot better. And David Warner's in the team, so he could lead Daredevil. I know there was a chat on it, a quick buzz, but I think the consensus was they should let Rishabh Pant go captain because it's good to have an Indian there because you know what's going on with the domestic system. But I think David Warner's got credibility. Fine. If you talk about international, maybe not so much as captain, but as a IPL guy, I mean, although no, shame I shouldn't say that. I mean, he did very well for Australia, the short-term captain. So I don't know. Maybe David Warner should be captain next year. Never know. It could happen.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because after the game, Ponting really backed Punt as skipper for next season as well. So
Oh.
that's going to be a really interesting one next season. But I feel Punt is sort of a player that I think captaincy hangs a lot on his shoulders, and I think he's a sort of free spirit sort of player. So
Mm, mm, mm.
um, if you look at his batting this season, hasn't been the best of returns. Uh, and who knows, captaincy would have really been a part of it as well, where he just hasn't got those runs that you expect from him. And yeah, as I say, some decision making this season and especially last night really really let him down. But we're all
Mm,
human. We all make mistakes at the end of the day. Unfortunately, it was a
mm.
crucial game that these mistakes were
Yeah.
made. And yeah, look, this is IPL. The pressure is always there. You can see it in the fielding. You can see it in some of the shots played. The pressure is there. The pressure is right down to the last game.
Mm,
That is why it's an intense competition. And I guess if you can't handle it,
mm,
uh, you're always going to be falling short. So, by no means, is this like a foregone conclusion that Punt will be skipper? But I think from the coaching staff, if they give him the backing as keeper for next season, it looks like a possibility. However, I think it's all down to the player how he feels at the end of the day. If he feels happy leading the side, but I guess from the supporters' point of view, from the Delhi supporters' point of view, I think Pant is probably has probably gone from hero to villain in the space of one game with some of those decisions, and I guess you want to call it erratic batting. There was a bit of erratic batting from him as well, because I mean, had he stayed there, they probably would have got to a much better score, and throwing it away. I guess they looked control. So I mean, if you look at that game, there were so many times that Delhi looked in control and they threw it away. So they kind of invited Mumbai back into the game. I think it was
they sabotaged themselves.
I guess some early Christmas presents there from Delhi at the end of the day.
Christmas, hey, man, Christmas is too early, man.
That's a long way. Yeah,
man. No, okay. You know what's funny about today's game? Had Rajasthan Royals not beaten, I think it was Lucknow, this game today could have had some interesting permutations. But due to Rajasthan beating Lucknow, if I'm correct, it really made it really kind of boring, because it made it more difficult for my team to go through. Because had Lucknow beaten Rajasthan, you know what I mean, right? It would have been such an exciting IPL. Now it's kind of duddish. Look at today's game. What's the point? It's more like trial and error, you know. And if I look at today's match, they're playing in Wankhede, nice batting ground, I think. I am going for Punjab to win, but we know the Sunrisers. Whether the sunset will come, sun will go up, or else it will go down.
Yeah, I mean, look, a really pointless fixture at the end of the day. I mean, last game of the group stages. I mean, what can either team achieve at the end of the day? I guess confidence, maybe batting wise, bowling wise. But I mean, look at these two sides. I mean, look, it's been a strange tournament for both these sides. I mean, they looked like in the running for the playoffs, and then they fell off the train bird, and then they got themselves back into it, and then fell off again. So really consistency. If you look at these two sides, I think with Delhi, I think inconsistency is like riddled right across them, because I think they've been really, really heated. Especially Punjab, because I mean, Punjab played some really good games. You've seen I guess you've seen the good and the worst of Punjab this season. I mean, really, you've seen the whole package. I mean, I honestly thought we're not going to see the same again today.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought that when they beat your team twice, that they could have had possibilities, but I don't understand it. I really wanted to see a new team qualify in the IPL playoff. Fine, I mean, you have two new ones already, but I don't know. Just fed up, I guess. No, shame. I thought Sunrise also had a chance. Even they played great against your team as well. I mean, when they bowled them out cheaply, and then I thought they might have made the playoffs, but even they went off the rails. Worse than Punjab, actually. So who would have thought that? But I think your team had more consistency when they needed it. Although,
I think if you look at Sunrisers if you look at Sunrisers, they were riding so high towards the mid part of the IPL, and then I mean, we were looking at this and we say top 4 material, definitely top 4 material, and then I think it was
injuries that screwed them.
It's one of those games. I think it was one of those games that I think they lost Natarajan, and then they really fell off the rails, because I think with Natarajan being in the side, they look more potent in the bowling lineup.
No, but I think they were missing even Washington wasn't there. They need like an all-rounder, so they like his all-round ability. So I think they like him there just to add that extra layer. But I think once he wasn't there as well, because I know Sunrise would rate him highly, so pretty sad for them. I mean,
I mean, I don't want to read too much into the Washington thing, because I think they backed their four-prong pace attack, and I think when they lost that, they lost that 4-prong pace attack, and I think a guy like Malik, he lost his form in the, towards the latter end, where he was going for a lot of runs. But I think the game that really rocked them and rocked their confidence was the game against Gujarat, where I think they posted.
I'm thinking that.
I mean, everybody expected them to defend because Gujarat were in a spot of both. I mean, wow, that finish from Miller, Kawatia, Rashid, thing just took it away from them completely.
Yeah.
And I think they just rails, as you said. After that, I think they lost 5 in a row. And I think if you're going to lose 5 in a row, let alone win 4 in a row, it's going to be difficult for you to get into those playoff spots, because I mean, we know how competitive it's been this season, especially with those 2 new teams. But
and Malik had taken 5 wickets in that match. So that must be so deflating. You pick up 5 wickets and your team still loses the match. Aye.
Absolutely. And look, I think if you look at the sides that have missed out on qualification, I mean, KKR, I mean, you got credit for coming so close the other day. Really run chaser. But if you look at all these teams
they were chokers, man. My team were chokers. They choked 2 matches they should have won. At least they should have won 1 out of the 2. It would have been very interesting. They choked. Imagine. Fine, I know those chases are big, but come on, if you're giving yourself that chance, you should be getting it there at the end. Especially the last one. Come on, 3 of 2 reminded me of that. I know I shouldn't say it because you're a proud South African supporter, but it reminded me of the 99 World Cup semi-final. You have 3 of 2, and then you somehow find a way of losing it. Aye. Come on. Painful, man.
Yeah. I think this probably it's probably I don't know if it stings more than the 99 but I mean, with this one, it's in hand. It's in hand, and I think they should have just went for it. I mean, obviously it was out of their hands, but I mean, I guess if they won, it wouldn't really have mattered for much in the end. If you look at how things ended up. But
no, it would have been interesting.
You just never know.
Yeah, it would have been interesting.
It would have been interesting. But, just getting back to what I was saying, if you look at sides that have not in qualification for the playoffs, there have been sides where there's been I think inconsistency in terms of team selection. They haven't had their best players for a lot of times. There've been a lot of chopping and changing. If you look at the top 4, I think been really relatively settled teams. I think there've been a change here or there, but they haven't been like widespread changes, and they haven't had a lot of injuries. It's just been players dropped on bad, I think. But I mean, the sides have missed out. There've been injuries. There've been players with bad form. Just been a lot of chopping and changing. So there've been a lot of disruptions. And I think COVID as well with Delhi. So it hasn't been the perfect season. It hasn't been the perfect season by no means. I think Gujarat and Lucknow have been really played above themselves. Let's be honest, they've really played above themselves aside. I mean, if you're looking at at the start of the season, you'd never put these sides. I think if I had to say top 3, really, I think you would have taken a brave man to make that call, even though they obviously they bought quite well in the playoffs. But I mean, in the IPL, you always pick teams on pedigree that have that pedigree of winning, that pedigree of making. Wouldn't have picked these 2 sides. I would think. So they've really played above themselves. They've really played above themselves. I think a lot of sides wouldn't really have expected Mumbai and CSK to have the season they had. And I think to an extent as well. I think I think those really underperformed, and here we have it. I think the most unlikely of top 3. I mean, they are barring RCB. I think RCB have been pretty consistent in getting the playoffs, but not pretty consistent in getting the playoffs. So I think barring RCB, we've seen 3 surprise packages at the top 3 of the standing so far.
Actually, if you look at it, I mean, I know you're not going to believe this, but I have my feeling that these teams could have been potential playoff candidates. Because if you look at the Gujarat team, The bowling was their strength. If you look at Rajasthan Royals, the way they bought in the auction, the team was so balanced. I mean, if that team had performed according to paper, they would have made the playoffs, which I suspected. They started off on a house on fire. Then they had that dip, which every team has. And then Lucknow, I felt they were more batting side compared to their bowling, but they've surprised me as well. So in hindsight, I think this lineup of teams is fine. It's absolutely right, because my team played so choppy, to put it politely, that they didn't really deserve it. And then Mumbai were pathetic, another choking team. I think Chennai just complicated it. They shouldn't have made Jadeja captain. I think he's like Pant. They need to be free birds. You can't do this to your best players. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then I don't know if you agree with me, but if Chennai had just stuck with Dhoni throughout this whole season, they could have contended for these playoffs, because once Dhoni came back, everything seemed to be flowing like the rivers, just flow. So I think that was, but anyway, I'm over it now. I think you just got to focus on these three matches. I'm thinking of the Titans in your team final. I think that made you feel a lot better.
Yeah, absolute relief at the moment, but the work starts now. And I mean, with the way Lucknow batted the last day, wow! I mean, that was some batting display from and de Kock. I mean, that was the best of de Kock I've seen in the IPL. I mean, he was absolutely middling. He was sensational. 140, 71 deliveries. That is fantastic. That's a strike rate of somewhere in the 190s. I mean, that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was, but I think what was good about it, I mean, we all know de Kock has all the shots in the book. I mean, he's such a talented player. It's just that his shot selection at times lets him down. Yeah. But I think his selection was absolutely spot on this time. And I'm sorry to say, he really brutalized those poor KKR bowlers at the end. And
yeah, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is, you know.
10. Yeah, I mean, that partnership of 210 is superb. I don't think it's going to be broken anytime soon. So that's already a tick in the box. I think Lucknow already made IPL history.
Yeah. Oh, you an opening sense. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be broken. I was thinking about that RCB game against Pune, where Gale and Kohli had a great partnership. I don't know how big that partnership was, but I remember that partnership was pretty big as well. So I don't know if it was similar to that partnership, although I don't think they were opening. They were more like 3rd and 1. But
I do remember that game. I do remember a bit of that game. I think Gale smashed 175 in that game, if I'm not mistaken, and that's the biggest IPL score as it stands. So I think that was vintage Gale in those days. And then we saw vintage de Kock in that game as well. So I think it's good signs for the Proteas if he keeps.
I think commentators were like bashing the commentators were bashing the bowling. It was really bad from both sides, but it's fine. At least the crowd must have enjoyed themselves if they were watching it live. I think boundaries galore. And then let's get to the playoffs. We can go on and on about these events. So we got the first one that's happening on Tuesday, which is really soon. Gujarat against Rajasthan Royals. Two great sides. If you look at it on paper, you say Rajasthan Royals have the more complete team, but I think Gujarat Titans with their amazing bowling, I'm going to go with them. And plus, I'm not a fan of Rajasthan Royals anyway, so I'm going to go with my heart here.
Yeah, I mean, two bites of the cherry. I mean, that's what you get when you finish first and second. But I do agree with you. I think the bowling lineup of Gujarat is superb, and I think I'm not sure how much they're going to be taking from that loss in the last game. I mean, I guess it was irrelevant at the end of the day in terms of the standings. But look on paper, there's one thing that really sets these teams apart. I think Gujarat, obviously, they have a much better bowling attack. We all know that. But Rajasthan, in terms of the batting, I think if Rajasthan's batting clicks, I think they can be a really dangerous opponent for the Gujarat Titans, because I think Gujarat is a side where you're not going to see those massive totals, but they're a side that I mean, I personally think they're a side that relishes chasing. They just love chasing. They're so good. When it comes to setting a score, I don't think they're really good at that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they win the toss. They put Rajasthan in and chase whatever score that Rajasthan puts to them. But I guess form, I'd definitely go with Gujarat Titans as well. Definitely go with Gujarat to win this one.
So, we go to the Wednesday fixture, which is also in Kolkata. Lucknow against your team, RCB. This is a do or die match because they have a wins here. I mean, ever lose here is officially out. There's no bite of the cherry, and this is a toughie. Actually, I'm going to say your team to win because I'd like to see my team against your team just to make you smile.
Look, after the Punjab game, I really wasn't encouraged by the way RCB batted. But after the Gujarat game, I do feel there is hope in this game here. And look, RCB is going to take this, take this with all hands. Well, I mean, they're going to grab this opportunity with all hands if they play to the potential. And Kohli getting a score is really, really, a big boost for the side. And I think obviously Faf. And I think if they can give RCB a good platform, I think this one is for the taking, hey, because I think the Lucknow bowlers, if you look at their bowling attack, I think their bowling attack is there for the taking. Their strength is their batting, which we did see against KKR. And look, it's not going to be easy, hey.
Yeah.
But I have that funny feeling that I see RCB scraping over the line here and getting into that that qualifier too. So that's how I'm gonna. That's the only prediction I'm gonna give for now. And we'll just see how it goes because I mean, look, it's a knockout game. If you look at it, I think it's a quarterfinal. It's a potential quarterfinal to get to a semi-final and then into a final. So I think RCB can sneak home in this one.
Yeah, I'm just thinking now. What was I gonna say to? I just remembered now. I think RCB's best chance of winning is to probably bat first, get a good score, and then defend it because I think Lucknow hasn't been good at chasing compared to batting first. Unless I'm wrong, I don't know. I've noticed that whenever Lucknow has batted first, defended, they've been excellent. But when they've chased, remember that match against Titans, they really bottled it up, 81 all out. If I'm correct. So I think your team should probably bat first. Although it probably depends if it's dew, so that's another problem. And those pitches will be fresh, so good time to be a fast bowler.
Absolutely, and look, a bit of a strange thing with regards to the playoffs that they're taking it to another venue. I think they probably could have kept it in Mumbai and surrounding venues. Because I think one Kenya.
Yeah, they could have
kept it around Kenya because I think one Kenya is a ground that Mumbai really, really plays well in. But I mean, having said that, I think I'd like to allude to what you just said about RCB's strength, and definitely RCB's strength is getting a score on the board and defending it because I think they have a better bowling attack than Gujarat on paper. So that I think should be the game plan. Is getting a good total on the board, probably something around 180, 190, and defending it. I think they've got the bowling attack to defend that sort of total.
I kind of in disagreement with you in terms of better than the Titans bowling attack. I think they're probably evens because Rashid's a great bowler, Zaki is great, Shami is great. I mean, their bowling is awesome. But if you were saying,
Lucknow.
Oh yeah,
talk about Lucknow. Lucknow.
Well, that makes more sense now.
Yeah.
That makes more sense now.
Yeah, we're talking about Lucknow.
Oh yeah, then on Friday will be the. This is trial and error now because we haven't even got the results of the two playoffs. But let's say hypothetically now, let's be devil's advocate. We have the Rajasthan Royals against. Against your team. Sorry. Wow, that's a nice icy meaty ball match. The two quality balanced teams against each other. Oh, honestly, I'd like to see your team make the playoff because at least it'll give your team another chance of it. I think Rosen Roll have won a title before, but though that's been in donkey years, so I'm also somewhat a fan of Rosen Roll's match. So I think it'll be nice. Even though I would prefer my team against your team, but it's fine. My new favorite Titans, so it's a consolation prize. That's how I'm looking at it as.
Look, I mean, if you're looking at it on history, I think this probably is I mean, RCB could not have a better chance of
tell me about it.
Winning it. I mean, there's no CSK, there's no Mumbai, there's no KKR. I mean, yeah. I mean, three of the most successful sides in this competition are not there. They're on the wrong side of the table. So, I mean, in terms of history, this is their best chance. But I think if you're looking on just performance-wise and on paper, look, so I'll have to be honest with you. I think RCB, I think they've got to ride that underdog status at the moment, because I think if you look at the top three, I think they're probably underdogs in terms of winning the qualifiers, winning the second playoff game, winning the eliminator, winning the second playoff game and getting to the final. So, I mean, just on form, you'd probably put them as underdogs in terms of getting to the final and actually winning the competition. So, I don't think RCB will have that much of a problem with that underdog status at the moment. I think they'll roll with that underdog status right till the final. So I don't think Faf has a problem with being the underdogs in any of these games. So it's probably the best chance at the moment.
I think Faf will be hero worshipped if RCB actually win a title. I mean, their fans have been so loyal. I've never seen such loyal fans. I know the cricket experts are like crazy about RCB fans. They die with their team. They live and die by their team. So yeah, it's crazy times.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I see it a lot on social media. I think RCB's fan base is one of the biggest and one of the most passionate. I think they live the win and they live the defeat. It's a real mix of emotions, and I've seen it. I mean, I'm on quite a few pages with the RCB team, and I mean, I just saw it on YouTube, and I saw the squad watching that Mumbai game last night, and there was so much emotion of I mean, cheering every wicket from Mumbai, cheering every run, every boundary from Mumbai, and then towards the end, there was such a it was ecstasy at the end, and the celebrations of getting to the playoffs. So I think Faf has done pretty well in his first season, to be fair, as captain. Made some good calls. I think there have been some tough games along the way as well, but I think for the majority of it, he's made some really, really good calls.
Yeah,
as captain.
But hypothetically, should RCB win this tournament, he should thank Mumbai in his thank you speech.
Absolutely, and I think he's going to thank Mumbai. A couple of those Mumbai players on Twitter. I think he sent a few messages to Tim David as well, because Tim David is obviously an ex-RCB player, and obviously Tim David became Goliath yesterday. From David to Goliath, so it was a David versus David Goliath performance from Tim David. So they're really, really thankful to Mumbai Indians and Tim David and the entire Mumbai team for getting over the line there. So I mean, if you look at Faf, I think he's a winner. I mean, he's already done it with CSK, so he's got the taste of winning the IPL. So that really holds him in good stead, especially these playoff games, because I think CSK have played these playoff games for so many years, and they are masters of getting out of these playoff games. So that would really be an advantage to Tim, to Faf. And saying about winning the IPL, I think Faf will probably have godlike status in Bangalore, and he'll probably go ahead of even a guy like De Villiers if he wins this IPL. I mean, this is history in the making for the side. So it's going to be a nerve-wracking and it's going to be an exciting week to come, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like you have one natural captain against one, well, to put it politely, reluctant captain in KL Rahul. So obviously, if you're looking at it on paper, you should have to say that the real captain should really win it. But I think it's more about how the team really performed. I think they're peaking at the right time. I mean, Kohli was really pumped up, so a pumped up Kohli is good. And then I think, yeah, it's definitely the best chance. I mean, you won't see Mumbai play any worse. Gosh, and neither will you play CS. I know Dhoni's captaining next year, so I think beware other teams. And then I know there's a small auction happening next year, so it won't be as damaging to anyone this year. So I don't know how it'll go next year, but hopefully hopefully it works out. I think any final word before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, I love what you just said. I mean, about peaking at the right time. I think in IPL, it's not about winning all the games and getting to the playoffs. I think it's about peaking at the right time. And if you look at those great Mumbai sides, the likes of, when Pollard was in his heyday, and you like the likes of Malinga, I think those great sides, they peaked at the right time. And when they came to the playoffs, they were like really, really untouchable. So I think RCB need to look at those. RCB need to look at some of those videos, and I think they're peaking at the right time in terms of the batting, in terms of the captaincy from Pop, the bowling lineup. It looks quite settled. And I mean, obviously they're not going to Sharjah strip this time, so there's no gremlins. So I expect Kolkata, the Kolkata pitch to be a much better pitch than what Sharjah offered last year and the year before.
Way better.
Yeah, I mean the playoffs. It was really tough. So I expect a decent game.
Yeah.
Sorry?
No, I said there'll be fresh pitches, so it'll definitely be spicy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I guess it's all about peaking at the right time. So I mean, all the best to RCB, and hopefully next weekend on a Saturday we'll be talking about the finals. So I guess fingers crossed.
Yeah, actually, both matches are going to be in Ahmedabad. Actually, not to put any pressure on your team, but should your team win the eliminator, they're going to Ahmedabad, right? And they'll play against, I'm assuming, Rajasthan Royals. So should they beat Rajasthan Royals, your team will have the advantage of having experience on that Ahmedabad pitch. So no pressure, hey?
No pressure. I think that's one of the advantages. And I think the final is in Ahmedabad, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Eh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your team will have the advantage because they would have played the Rajasthan Royals, I would assume, should they lose. That'll be on Friday, actually, the qualifier too. That's what I'm saying. They'll have the advantage of having played in Ahmedabad, and then they play the final in Ahmedabad again against, I'm assuming, Titans.
Yeah, I guess there's nothing much you can ask for. I mean, if you win your games and you get to the final, you'll have that advantage of playing on a surface that you'll probably be familiar by then. So yeah, as I say, fingers crossed and hoping for the best.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, see you on the other side.
Take care, Sid. Chat to you soon.
You too.